Hey everyone, Tofu here. Welcome back to more Danganronpa Another, Chapter 5, Deadly Life. So, this is a big one, so turn away now if you have not seen the last episode, because someone died. Someone is dead, and you don't want to get spoiled on who it is, okay? So, assuming that's all clear now, I'm going to unpause the game and show you the corpse. It's Kisaragi. Oh my god, I forgot how fast I was. It's been a few days since I actually last recorded this, so I'm a bit fuzzy on what happened, but I still remember pretty well. We went through like the ballroom to get here, because this is the locked room on Chapter 5 that people can't enter the actual door from unless you have the password, and you can also only enter with like one person at a time. So it's very confusing how this all ended up here, but we saw Kirikawa holding a knife in front of Kisaragi's body, and it seems she is the culprit, but I kind of doubt it's that easy. But I'll hold off on my theories for now until we actually get a bit further into the investigation. So let's look at the Monokuma file again. I don't actually know if we looked at this before. I think we did, but let's look at it again just to refresh our memories here. Victim is Yamato Kisaragi. Estimated time of death was approximately 8:30 a.m. The cause of death was due to shock from a laceration, a huge hole in his chest. No other injuries were found. Okay, let's look at his body. Kisaragi's dead body. Kisaragi's eyes were open and empty. He looked like a high school student, no different than us. The handsome face with distinct features was so straight that my brain didn't think it was strange. He looks straight? Alright. Well, I can't figure it out just by using the Monokuma file. I'll have to check it out. Kisaragi's body was more severely damaged than the deaths of my friends I've ever seen. Really? Even more than, like, Inori? Okay. It was so cruel that I got goosebumps just looking at it. Like a brutal splatter movie scene. But I can't turn my eyes away. I have to make up my mind and investigate everything we can check. As written in the Monokuma file, the flesh on his chest is completely torn apart. Ugh. It's so terrifying that I don't know how to describe it. Is that it feels like to be exposed to dynamite or a grenade at a very close range. Of course, if that happens, not only the chest, but the whole body would fly away. In the case of Kisaragi, the degree of wound in his chest was too large, but the rest of his body was fine. The Monokuma file also said that there was no trauma other than the chest. The problem is, I can't even imagine what method to use in order to create a wound like this. For now, since the ballroom is still open, I can think of it as one of the many weapons in the arsenal. Wouldn't it be impossible to detonate only the chest with such precision with a bomb? Not to mention the time for the crime is way too short for such meticulous work. Anyway, what is certain is that Kisaragi died from this wound, and no more wounds found. Let's talk with everyone at the class trial about it. As of now, there seems to be no way to speculate on this abnormality. Huh. So are we really going with the fact that like something blew up inside of him or something? That's a bit odd. The kitchen knife is clean. Yeah, she was holding it. This is the knife Kirikawa was holding when the body was found. Did Kirikawa really with this knife to Kisaragi? Why Kirikawa? Before that question, I felt something odd with his knife. The Monokuma file I read a while ago. Clearly it said there was no other trauma other than the chest hole, right? It was clearly written that way. Besides, just looking at Kisaragi's corpse right in front of me, there were no traces of the use of a knife. And not just the corpse. When I looked again, the knife itself was clean without a drop of blood. Uh-oh. Then is this it? This knife is simply for a distraction. No, but then why was Kirikawa holding the kitchen knife in the first place? I shouldn't do this. When I start to think like this, I continue to doubt only Kirikawa. Let's not get caught in our prejudices until we go to the trial. Didn't we already experience this 4 times before in the previous trials? Kirikawa wouldn't have been holding this knife for no reason. Let's make a note of it. Clean knife. Okay. Can we actually go talk to her? Okay. I couldn't tell if the knife was, like, blocking us or not. I doubt she's gonna say anything, but... Kirikawa. When Makaru and I found the body, Kirikawa was standing in front of Kisaragi holding a kitchen knife with her whole body covered in blood. As if the murder scene had just been discovered. Since Kirikawa hasn't said a word, what in the world happened? What is the truth? Did Kurikawa commit murder? Yuki. Huh? What is it? The things you want to say. I know it. What? Because I know. Don't ask me anything now. As she said that, Kurikawa handed me a small notebook. What is this? Yamato. Kisaragi had a notebook. Eh? 0430. Is that the passcode to the door? Looking through the notebook Kurikawa handed over, I found a page with a number written on it among countless blank pages. 0430. Dude, I want to I'm trying to look at it upside down and be like, does that spell anything? I don't think it does. It's like, you could argue it's like O-E-B-O. Like oboe, but spelled wrong. I don't know. Oboe. The mastermind is a fucking oboe. Kurikawa, is this... Don't ask me anything. But Kurikawa, even when we found the body earlier... Please, not now. Don't ask me. I know nothing. She's about to face a life-threatening class trial, and she was probably at the center of this case. And yet she tries to push it back somehow. I couldn't take my heart away from Kurikawa's expression like that. Still, this number that Kurikawa gave me, no matter how much I think about it, if it's related somehow to this incident, then this is the password to the records? That's what I thought. Kurikawa seems to have left a great clue. I'll check this password a little more later. For now, let's continue the investigation. Kisaragi's notebook. Okay, nothing else in here to look at. Okay, there's like a thing here. A bloody cart left in the corner. Yeah, I think we saw a cart. Yeah, it's from the lab. That's where I saw it before. Certainly was something we saw on the lab. The fact that this cart is so bloody... Was it used to carry a dead body? Ooh. That is interesting. It is large enough to carry one person. It doesn't look like it from the sprite, but I guess it is. And although it is a bit difficult, it seems that you can climb places such as stairs by lifting the handle. Huh. Actually, I was concerned about it a while ago, but there was blood in the hallway of the 5th floor. We found that if they had entered the record room through the ballroom, could they not have shed a drop of blood while carrying the body there? I've always thought it was weird, but it's not impossible if you use this cart. Now, I don't know exactly where Kisaragi died yet. If it was hidden after entering the records, then blood might not matter at all. If we look at it that way, the fact that this cart is in the record room itself means that it has climbed the railing of the ballroom? Does that make sense? That doesn't seem possible. That doesn't seem possible at all. I don't know. I can't think of a way that you would lift a cart up to a balcony without stairs. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. More and more confusion grows in my mind. Yeah, you got that right. Either way, the presence of a cart and blood on it means that it was involved in the case in some way. Let's keep it noted. Let us do just that. Hello, Akane. Hey, Maeda-kun, I have something to tell you. Huh? Akane, did you find out something? No, rather than finding, I'll tell Rai-chan about it later. Do you remember? When Rai-chan asked me to go check out the lab, there were pieces of flesh. Oh, what? Pieces of flesh? What are you talking about? I don't know. It was a few, or the size of a mass of flesh. They were formed in a huge clump. Ew! That's disgusting. It was so grotesque and bizarre that I almost fainted on the spot. I was trembling and tried to calm down and let you all know, but Maeda-kun and Rai-chan were already gone. Wait a moment. Bloody flesh. Isn't this related to Kisaragi's death? Probably. Yes, I've noticed it too. The only wounded among us was Kisaragi-kun, who died. Yeah, but doesn't that mean Kisaragi-kun died in the lab? I don't know for certain to this point, but at least I'm pretty sure the culprit did something to them in the lab. Akane, thank you. Thanks to you, I got an important clue. It's okay. After all, it's thanks to Rai-chan that told me to go to the lab. Well then, I'll tell the other guys about it too. Still, there are many restrictions in the record, so I was just wondering about the place Kisaragi died. If Akane's words are true, there's the possibility that Kisaragi was also murdered elsewhere and brought to the records. Since Akane informed me, I'll go check out the laboratory directly a little later. Maeda, is it fine for a minute? No, even if it's not okay, listen up. Huh? Well, it's fine, but why? Have you tried talking with Mikako Kurikawa? Yeah. Yeah, but she says to not ask her anything. I'll be completely honest, I can't think of anyone other than Kurikawa as the culprit in this case, if we consider from the perspective of the elimination method. What? Wait a minute, wasn't Makaru the one who said to investigate since we don't know this yet? As I said, this is only the elimination method. Of course we have to investigate. But look at this. The victim, Yamato Kisaragi, ran out to find Mikako Kurikawa while we were all together. And after that, we were together until that guy was found dead. It wasn't like this until we arrived at the 5th floor hallway that something had already happened. Until it happened. Teruya went to see Kinjo, and Taira went to go check on the laboratory, right? I asked them, so it would be impossible to break up with us and then commit murder. And even before I asked them, the hallway on the 5th floor was already covered in blood. Kinjo. Teruya said that he was safe. It's more like he's been fighting on his own mind than being safe, but I can't see him being involved in this crime. You're right. After all, what Teruya said a while ago is wrong, but nothing is amiss. The only one capable to commit this is Mikako Kurikawa. If you think this far, there are two possibilities. One is that the real culprit is Mikako Kurikawa. The second one, other than Mikako Kurikawa, overturned all her doubts toward her, and they are laughing behind the whole scheme. Then all of this was planned? Actually, everything seems a little vague. Neither of these have definite conclusions. The incident itself is very unusual and abnormal. We still need to do more investigation. For real. However, there's one thing with certainty. Mikako Kurikawa is the only one who doesn't have an alibi. She doesn't have an alibi. Then does this mean that it is meaningless to consider this case based on an alibi? If anyone other than Kurikawa is the culprit, that means they've been walking alongside us all along and committing the murder. Anyway, let's investigate further. Makaru, thank you for the information. I didn't really tell you anything worth deserving your thanks, did I? Now the real problem is bigger than you can imagine. Hold your mind steady and investigate. Everyone's alibi. Well, okay. Is that really all there is to this room? Does this lead outside? The entrance to the records. Without entering the ballroom, if you enter normally, this would be a normal passage leading to the 5th floor hallway. Can we not open it from inside? Oh no, I guess not. The door to the records is locked with a password, so it seems impossible to open it from the inside or outside if you don't know the password to it. Is the passcode thing on the inside too, or is that only on the outside? Moreover, Monokuma said that only one person can enter the records. In other words, as long as we are here, even if we enter the password, it won't open. Hello, Makaru? Makaru? I don't know about the others, but you and I know, right? Only one can enter, and if two or more try to enter at the same time, the bulkhead will come down to block this. That's right, yeah. I didn't even tell them that when we reported on the investigation. Perhaps the place we're standing right now is where the bulkhead is lowered. What? Then we should get out of here. What if the wall suddenly comes down and we get hurt? Don't make a fuss over it. Monokuma did the same, right? After all, the second bulkhead will be lowered after entering the password. It's safe now. What's more important is the structure of this record room. Only you can enter alone, because this fact itself can have a profound effect on the case. Is that so? Should we care much about the door of the entrance to this room? Yes? I mean, we all don't know the password and we can only access it through the ballroom. If it wasn't for the most likely suspect and victim, I wouldn't care. What? No big deal. Anyway, it's good to remember the rules of entering the records. 1. Only one person can enter the records. 2. It won't open if someone is already inside. 3. If two or more enter at the same time, the bulkhead comes down. Remember this. You'll have to explain it to the others, too. That means you're asking me to explain it? Makaru, can't you do it? Remember! Oh, okay. Alright. We have access to the ballroom, so I thought the records was good with just that. If we listen to Makaru, it seems the records will be an important place more than I thought. Let's keep it in mind. Alright. Oh, hello. The second floor of the ballroom was connected to the record room. As for the cloth outside, how did the culprit know about this? Well, Makaru noticed it right away, so it might not be so strange. Maybe because Makaru is the killer. I'm joking. I'm a grown-up now. I won't do anything rash, it's true. Is that all you have to say? Really? Okay. I thought we'd have something important to say about Kinjo, but I guess not. Well, then let's go out here. I guess we can look at this. Oh my god, he's like standing on the balcony. Like the railing. A cloth was attached to the railing so that we could go upstairs. With this cloth, we were able to enter the archives. This cloth has been set already when Makaru and I, who first checked the records, entered through the ballroom. Then, as expected, the culprit must have installed it. But what is it from? Is it like the tablecloth? It might be the tablecloth. From the dining area in the ballroom. Because didn't Makaru or someone use that to, like, to capture Kinjo when he tripped? I think it was something like that. I felt it when I first climbed it, but it was tied really well. Not only that, the texture of this cloth, I think I've touched it a lot somewhere. Anyway, without this cloth, you can't go in or out of the records, so let's be careful not to break it. The person who installed this cloth is most likely the culprit. With this alone, this cloth itself could be proof. Let's keep it noted. Ballroom white cloth. I think I've examined everything in regards to the record room. I searched as much as I could, but I found very little. Damn it. To begin with, the case itself is somewhat strange. I feel a sense of contradiction within itself. I didn't feel the previous 4 cases to be normal, but I felt something foreign compared to the previous ones. I can't help but to complain. Since Monokuma hasn't made their broadcast yet, there's still time remaining. And there was also something I heard from Akane. There was some flesh piece in the lab. Let's check that with our own eyes. Okay. Hey, fast travel. It's really like Akane said. Bloodiness. It feels wrong. Wait. Where is this? I didn't think the lab looked like this. Is this the flesh Akane mentioned? As Akane mentioned, it was a chunk of flesh of the size of 2 human fists was rolling around in blood. It was so messed up that I couldn't even tell which part it was, but it looked like a piece of meat before being trimmed at a butcher's shop. Ugh, it's terrible. I stopped thinking right now and just wanted to get out of here, but this chunk of flesh has something to do with it too. I have to investigate as far as I can. The flesh was crushed everywhere, and it was shaken violently as if it had been squeezed with force. There was something like dust on it, and I was wondering what purpose it was for. Come to think of it, the bloodstains in the hallway on the 5th floor were seen from the laboratory to the records. Even this chunk of flesh now has bloodstains on the outside of the laboratory. Then the bloodstains in the hallway might not have flowed from the corpse itself, but from this piece of flesh that had fallen off. Why did the culprit do such a terrible thing? To disguise as if a corpse was moved? But it's too sloppy to do that. In the beginning, the archive where the body was found was too clean for the murder to take place. As I guessed while talking with Akane, Kisaragi may actually have been killed in this laboratory. That thought only grew more. Yeah, there's something near the mass of flesh. Is it that thing? What is that? Is that like a lighter? It looks similar. Oh, it's a smoke grenade. Okay. A bomb? It can't be. The thing that killed Kisaragi was... Sorry, but that's not it. Where the hell did you come from? Makaru, you were in the lab too? In what time? Hey, I just came and got a report from Tyra about the lab. Isn't that why you're here too? That's true, but what's not it? Makaru, do you know what this bomb is? Bomb, or rather gas bomb, that's it. Actually, I should say it's an anesthetic gas that temporarily causes paralysis. Anesthetic gas? A kind of nerve gas. It's not harmful to the body. It's a bomb in the form of a gas grenade. So it looks like it was made for military purposes, but the gas itself is also used for medical purposes. I see. How did you know this? I'm not stupid. It's all written there, isn't it? Even if it's written, it's all in English. Well, I think I'll only get more insults if I say any more than this. Anyway, this anesthetic gas, it was used by the culprit, right? That's right. There are plenty of grenades like this in our arsenal. After disabling Kisaragi with this, did they manipulate the case to fit the trick? But I still can't figure it out. Well, that aside, it's time to go to the trial. Did you find out anything? Well, vaguely. Looking at the state of the flesh, I guess that the bloodstains in the hallway did not spread from the corpse itself, but from this piece of flesh. And you don't know why did they make such a hassle, don't you? Right, something is seriously wrong here. It's not a surprise, because I'm the same. Makaru, what were you looking at inside? I'm just checking to see if there's something. Something that belongs to Yamato Kisaragi. Checking? Why? Think about it. The bodies of those who have died so far are kept in the laboratory, right? Isn't there a possibility that it's a piece of flesh cut out from there? Wait, Makaru, did you check the corpses one by one? Fortunately, there was no traces of anyone touching it, so it's likely that that piece of flesh belonged to Kisaragi Yamato. Not that. What about our dead friends? What, do you want to sue me for checking a corpse? If we don't find out more about the truth, we ourselves will turn into corpses, won't we? Save it. I don't have the luxury to talk to you, because we're arguing for nothing. I'm not in the mood to get angry. Makaru's condition from a while ago, as of now. You don't know either, right, Makaru? About this case. No, I think I've got a decisive factor. Seriously, do you know who the killer is? What I should say is, I don't understand. I feel like I just found the answer without knowing the solution. What are you talking about? Look closely at the next to the flesh here. Some letters are displayed here. Wait, what? Letters? What is this? Oh no, it's another dying message that I can't read. Blood writing, a dying message. Besides, this says... Oh, okay, it says Mikako. Mikako Kurakawa? Maybe. Isn't this it? Isn't it possible? Anyone who sees it is just pointing at that woman. Such a decisive clue. Then the culprit is Kurakawa? Well, if you think about it normally, that's it. However, something is wrong. All the clues say that Mikako Kurakawa is the culprit. It fits perfectly. There is an unresolved problem to say that the woman is the culprit. Now, even this dying message points to a name that is neither a password nor a hint. You don't even need to process it. Common sense dictates, if you're the culprit, there's Yuki Maeda written on the scene. Would you leave it alone? I would erase it. It's weird. It's so weird. Even if this is the correct answer, there's not one or two oddities. Damn it! A woman like me to fall for this. Oh, shit. That was a super short investigation.
Alright, I think the investigation will be over soon, so let's get started, shall we? The fifth one. Let's start the 5th class trial. All gather at the courtroom on the 1st floor. Pooh-hoo-hoo!
Oh boy. It's finally starting. Let's go. The trial will be conducted and a decision will be made. There's no choice. I'll do my utmost effort to help out as long as I cooperate with you guys. That will be reassuring enough, right? Yeah, so far I've passed the class trial 4 times. Let's trust everyone. It will definitely work out somehow. To find out the culprit. What's wrong, dude? Are you okay? You were here. Tsuruya, what's wrong? Wait a minute, I have something to show you. What do you mean? We have to go to the courtroom. It's only just a minute. You have to go down to the 1st floor anyway. Just go to the dormitory for a moment. The dormitory? What's going on there? I decided to go down to the dormitory following Tsuruya, who looked desperately different from usual. Uh-oh. What's going on? Where Tsuruya took us was... Where? What the fuck? Hey, this is Kurakawa's private room, isn't it? What? Tsuruya, why in the world are you... Before the why, how comes first. You can't enter someone else's private room without a key. How did you get into Mikako Kurakawa's private room? No, I was trying to stop by my room for the last time because I was afraid that might go to the trial in advance. That's when I saw Kurakawa's private room was wide open. The door was open? I excused myself into Kurakawa's room. I came in for a while to find out what was going on. I found something surprising. Come this way. What the fuck is that? This bed. That's a bed? Dude, she is a robot, right? That looks like a charging station. Some kind of, like, pod. What? I'm gonna look so stupid if she's not a robot. I just can't understand. Like, why do they keep doing this to her? Why do they keep setting this stuff up? The sheet is missing. Wait, is that actually supposed to be a bed? Okay. I'll buy it. No bed sheet? Only hers. Why only Kurikawa's room? Oh, that's what they're going with. The cloth hanging from the railing of the... sorry. I don't like calling out the typos because I understand it's a hard thing to do, but the sentence is so funny to me. The cloth hanging from the railing of the ballroom. So that was it. It was this bedsheet? What? Yeah, I noticed too. Kurikawa's bedsheet were torn and tied up together. Wait, but then why was Kurikawa's sheet used? What else could it be? It's because she's the culprit, and this is not far-fetched, as it has been before. If this is not solid evidence, then what the heck is it? Evidence to be so openly like this? This is no longer reasoning or being ignorant. This is really... Makaru?
Hey, what are you guys doing? Didn't the announcement tell you to gather at the courtroom? Miss Tyra and Miss Kurikawa are waiting for you.
Yeah, we've been away for too long.
Seriously, I've seen you do this once or twice before, so you think you can be late now? Originally, it's just a calling for quick execution.
Maeda, Teruya, let's go to the courtroom. We can't avoid a class trial. Okay. Alright. Okay. Let's go. I wonder if Kinjo's going to be here at all.
Now, we finally got everyone together. A little late, but let's get started right away. As always, please take the elevator down. And for reference, Kinjo-kun is alive, but he's unconscious, so I gave him a special break for this trial. The number of people will be small, but let's work hard. Boo-hoo!
Oh boy. So he's just not going to be here at all. 5 people, including me. It's necessary to uncover the truth of this case with such a small number of people. Maeda-kun, what in the world were you doing to be so late? Matori-kun and Rei-chan, too. Sorry, I was taking them somewhere. Really? I was so worried. I thought something happened, because Mikiko-chan doesn't say anything. Yep. Well, we're not dead anyway, right? Let's go down. Everyone is ready, right? Ahead of the outcome, this might be the last class trial. Why the last one? Why? Because common sense, there's already 5. Except for Kinjo, I can't see any hopeless people. So when this class trial is over, there will be only 4 people left. If the number of people is reduced up to that point, there will be no murders or trials. The fewer the people, the more difficult it is to act. It does make sense, but that goes for when we pass this trial safely, right? Yes, of the 5 of us, there's a culprit. Even for the others who have died so far, it cannot end here. That's all I need to know. Let's begin then. The final climax event. It may be the last class trial. Makaru's last comment, who wasn't sure if it was filled with certainty, overlapped with the number of remaining survivors. It dug deeper into my chest. I also have to make up my own mind. Overcoming a life-threatening class trial, this school. No, to escape this building. To survive safely and to see my family again. To find out the truth. Laboratory meat. Anesthetic gas. Kisaragi's dying message. Kurikawa's room. Jesus Christ, we got so much there all at once. Okay. I don't really need to save now, but I'll do it anyway. I won't be scared or withdrawn anymore, because we can't end here without knowing anything. The culprit who killed Kisaragi-kun must be identified. This case, I don't like it. Whether it's a trick, no evidence, or a culprit. The culprit, it's already out here. It'll be okay, we won't die here. She probably won't say anything. Yep. Okay. So, before we go down, I just want to give some brief thoughts about what I think about what's going on here. Generally, I don't really know. I don't know, like, even with the evidence we found, it's still hard for me to put together exactly how the murder happened. Just like, you know, the culprit aside, just like, I don't know how they did it. Like, it's still kind of weird to me, and like, there's a lot of possibilities that kind of overlap with each other and don't make much sense if they both happened or all of them happened. I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I don't know, the cart implying that the body was moved, but then there's like the idea of a remote detonation that occurred. that, like, they didn't need to be in the room to kill him in there. So that's a bit odd to me as well. As far as who did it, I don't think it's Kurikawa. I don't think it is. I think she's being set up. Much more blatantly than Makoto and Kyoko were set up well, Makoto wasn't really set up. He just kind of took the fall because it was convenient. But, like, she's being set up way more than Kyoko was in Chapter 5. And that just, like, that feels, like, way too wrong to be true. So, you know, as I've been saying with a lot of my theories so far for this, is that this game kind of pulls a lot from Trigger Happy Havoc, but it puts its own unique twist on it, which I do really like. So I am kind of thinking that it is something similar to that, where it's like this is kind of a setup case by the mastermind. I don't know if that means the mastermind is the culprit. I think it very likely is. If that's the case, I don't have anyone specific in mind, because genuinely I don't know who the fuck it could be at this point. Genuinely, I have no ideas for that. I have a few, but it's like, that's not really what's important right now. I don't want to get into that whole can of worms at this point. But, like, I don't know. I really don't know what happened here. It feels like a setup to me because, like, we were all together, and it's like, I don't see how anyone other than another party could have done it. I don't think Kirikawa could have done all that in such a short time, even when, you know, she was not with us. It was like, we saw her right before we went to the dining hall, so it's like, I don't think she could have done all that that quickly, but I don't know. I feel like we might lose somebody anyway, and that will be the kind of twist on it. So I don't know what the twist on this is yet, but I'm thinking it is kind of based on that Trigger Happy Havoc Case 5, where it is a setup, and there's gonna be some kind of unique twist that I won't see coming, and I have no idea what it is. So let's just go down the elevator and see what we're getting ourselves into. Oh boy, only 5 of us in this elevator right now. Gosh dang. Ugh. The silence so heavy that crushes us lingers in the elevator. Not only was it the tension that the class trial was about to begin, but it was also due to the insufficient number of people. Kinjo is still alive, but frankly, there's not much hope. No, just being alive is still a hopeful thinking. Makaru said it is highly likely that this will be the last class trial. I really wish it was, but due to the nature of the class trials, 1 out of 5 people will never be able to go back up this elevator again. Still, we have no other choice but to do it. Maeda-kun, did you say something? Nothing, just talking to myself. Yeah, we have to do it. Since the very first time Maki was murdered, this has been repeated over and over again. We have no choice, there's none. Alright. Well, let's go. The elevator stopped with a heavy sound, and we stepped into the class trial for a 5th time. Craving for hope to survive. Ooh, look at this decor. Isn't this... That's like what... I don't remember exactly what the trial rooms look like in all the cases from both this game and Trigger Happy Havoc, but isn't this like exactly what the Case 5 trial room looked like in Trigger Happy Havoc? I don't know if they've all been exact references like that, but I know this one for sure looks like that one.
Hey, you're finally here! I thought I was going to die from the exhaustion of waiting.
Why does the atmosphere in this courtroom seem to be getting more colorful?
Oh, Atori-kun, you have eyes to look, I see. This time I designed it with special care. Doesn't it make your eyes glow?
Ew.
Now, the number of people is small, so why not start early? As always, please go to your selected seats.
Sir, yes, sir. Friggin' Satsuki's portrait being there. I don't like it.
Even though there are only 5 people here, the fewer the numbers, the more interesting the case. Will the Blacken succeed in escaping this time? Will Hope win again? Let's get started!
And so it begins. The 5th class trial. The 5th crossroad of death. The victim of this case, Kisaragi. There is also the Kisaragi Foundation that used to exist, but his existence itself was the #1 suspect on the candidate to be the mastermind. But I was thinking differently about Kisaragi. His brain was weird, he couldn't communicate well, but no matter how you looked at him, he didn't look like a villain. If we had talked a little more, we might have known more about him. To think they would end up like this. And after Kisaragi's appearance, Kurikawa's condition became strange to anyone looking at it. In the end, she emerged as the most likely candidate to be the culprit, and everyone became suspicious of her. Whatever the truth is, even if I don't want to know, soon it will be revealed. No, it must be revealed. Our resolves will cross each other, and the trial shall begin. A life-threatening discussion, a life-threatening lie, a life-threatening betrayal, a life-threatening explanation. Look at Satsuki! Ah! A life-threatening excuse, a life-threatening trust, a life-threatening class trial. Let's get to it. Okay, let's save, of course, first of all. And then let's check out the truth bullets. Like usual, if you want to skip this part, go ahead. I don't care. I'm just going to go through it really quick. I don't think we have that many truth bullets this time. Monokuma File 5. Victim is Yamato Kisaragi. Estimated time of death is 8:30 a.m. Cause of death is shock due to a laceration in the groove, a huge hole in his chest. No other injuries were found. Chest hold. I like how he's smiling in that picture with massive blood all over his chest. I don't know, it's just funny to me. Victim Kisaragi suffered serious injuries such that his chest was completely blown away, revealing the entire inside of his body. The Monokuma file also mentions that this wound was the direct cause of death. However, there are no other noticeable traumas. What kind of thing can destroy only this part without touching any others? Clean kitchen knife. This is the knife Kurikawa was holding when the body was found. I thought Kurikawa might have hurt Kisaragi with a knife, but since the Monokuma file did not mention any wounds by knife, the knife itself was clean with no blood on it. Was it just there for their distraction? Even so, why was she holding a knife? Bloody cart. A cart from the lab was left at the scene of the incident covered in blood. The fact that the cart was covered in blood means that it may have carried a corpse. But if you could enter the records from the ballroom, could you bring this cart upstairs? It's still full of mysteries, including to this point. Kisaragi's handbook. Kisaragi's handbook was handed over from Kurikawa, a handbook that Kisaragi had. It was mostly blank, but there was a number 0430 written in one page. What is the purpose of this number? There's a high probability that, but it's a guess, that this is the password to the door to the records. But why did Kurikawa give this to us? Everyone's alibi. Makaru clearly states the only one who can commit the crime is Kurikawa in this case. The reason is that from the time Kisaragi, the victim, last appeared in front of us, except for Kurikawa, the others had been with us all the way until the body was found. Is Kurikawa really the culprit? Entrance of the records. It is true that only just me and Makaru know, but there are rules other than just the password in the record room. Only one person can enter the records. When there is already someone inside, the door won't open. If two people go at the same time, a bulkhead door closes the room. Because of these rules, is the record room itself heavily involved in this case, or ballroom white cloth, you cannot enter the record room unless you know the password. However, the emergency exit in the back was strangely connected to the dance hall of the ballroom. The problem is that there was a door on the high railing as it was one floor higher. Still, someone had hung a white cloth to allow access. It must be the culprit's doing, but haven't I seen this cloth somewhere else? Laboratory meat. Mentioned by Akane, there was someone's chunk of flesh around the lab. According to Makaru, it is presumed to belong to the victim Kisaragi. The shape is squeezed beyond recognition, and bloodstains from the flesh are connected to the hallway corridor. Could the bloodstains in the hallway on the 5th floor really be this piece of flesh? Anesthetic gas. It is a gas grenade that has been used in the laboratory. It is called anesthetic gas, and there is a possibility that the victim was neutralized rather than killed immediately. These kinds of things must come from the arsenal. Kisaragi's dying message. There is a dying message written in blood on the laboratory floor. Victim must have written it with all his might. It's written Mikako, but for most of us who know who this name refers to, even if it's true, would the criminal just leave the dying message that pointed out their name so openly and leave it behind by their own decision? Kirikawa's room. Kirikawa's room was open for some reason. Also, the bed sheets went missing inside. I thought I had seen the white cloth to the railing before, but it's likely that it is from her private room bed. Not to mention, why would Kirikawa's sheets be gone? Okay. I am going to take a drink of water. You should too. Hydration is awesome. You know, I'm going to take one more. For good luck, because I don't know what the hell's going on here. But let's get to it. Trial in session. What the hell is going on?
Now then, let's start with a brief explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the class trial is decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, then only they will get punished. But if you pick the wrong person, then I'll punish everyone else except the blackened, and the one who deceived everyone will graduate proudly. Now, you may start with...
The culprit is Kirikawa. Nothing more to see here.
Oh, you started already. Well, it doesn't matter. Please discuss things carefully.
Wait a minute, Teruya. We've only just started. It's just the beginning, and nothing more, right? Before, Makaru was the first to investigate, but now how can you prove it? It's a class trial. The culprit is still Kirikawa. You all know that, don't you? At the time Yuki and Makaru found the body, Kirikawa was bloody at the scene. Besides, everyone except Kirikawa were together. Tori-kun, calm down a little. As Maeda-kun said, we are just starting. Wouldn't it be better to sort things out? No, I'm perfectly calm right now. This is different from before. I mean, it's a conclusion after a thorough analysis, not a call-out of a desire to escape from reality. Of course, I also think Mikako-chan is the most suspicious, but... Calm your bullshit. It looks exactly the same as before, so stop and let's begin the discussion. What do you mean? Isn't Kirikawa the culprit? Of course, I also know Kirikawa, I also see Kirikawa as the main suspect, but currently Teruya is being too forward. It's a requirement to at least have a discussion. For now, it would be better to convince Teruya. Okay, non-stop debate. Let's just get to it. Spinny time! What have we here? We have everyone's alibis, clean knife, ballroom cloth, and Mikiko's private room. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Infinite? Infinite stars? I'm not done talking. She was bloodied at the scene. That is true. I mean, there's even more evidence than this. Stupid, your life is at stake. Can't you take responsibility for it? I'm gonna say the knife was clean. I feel like that's probably the one that's going to point to her being not the culprit. There's more evidence that you can't discuss. Have you forgotten? She was holding a kitchen knife, but it was clean. I'm just gonna shoot this now. Oh, that's not it? Oh, okay. I thought it was because the knife really doesn't have anything suspicious about it. That was my fault. I jumped the gun on that one a little bit. But hey, at least we still got a monocoin for that. Holding a kitchen knife. If you're not a culprit, why are you holding a knife? Oh, okay. Yeah, I should have waited. I should have waited. Hey, I'm playing the long game here. I'm trying to build up those monocoins, bro. Yeah, anyway. Why do we have infinite health? That's... Or not health, focus. I don't think that's what any of the stuff I bought did. I know, like, Yamaguchi's thing gives me 2 extra hearts, which I'm glad I got because I fucked up already. But Setsuki's obviously gives you monocoins when you shoot a bullet. And Haru's is only for Hangman's Gambit. I don't think I bought anyone else's, did I? I don't think I did. So I don't know, maybe they just give you infinite focus for this trial. Beats me, I don't know. Maybe I did buy something and I just forgot because it's been a while. I don't know. Teruya, just because she was holding a kitchen knife doesn't mean they're the culprit. What are you talking about? No matter how you look at it, she was carrying a weapon. I'm not sure you can even cook in there. I'm not sure you can even cook in there. That's such a funny line. No, you can tell by looking at the body of Kisaragi, the victim of this case. Kisaragi wasn't stabbed to death by this knife. It is also specified in the Monokuma file. There were no special wounds other than a hole in his chest. Right. And crucially, there was not a drop of blood on the knife. No sign of stabbing anyone. That's true, sorry for forcing this. But then what was the kitchen knife for, unless she was set up in a murder? I won't deny that issue with you. I admit that Kurikawa is suspicious to the end, but that doesn't mean you can just blindly conclude that she is the culprit. I know. I'm sorry. Without knowing, I let my habit run wild again. I didn't grow at all, I don't think I did. No, it's because we all understand it. Are you done now? Then let's start with the case. Wait! Are you okay for 1 minute before that? What else? Well, that thing. That one next to Monokuma. What is that? Why is Kisaragi's portrait over there?
Oh, this? Well, don't mind it. I couldn't help it because there wasn't a seat space for him.
A seat?
Kisaragi-kun was originally a person who never entered a class trial room, so he had a reserved seat. Hey, don't talk about anything that has nothing to do with the trial. Come on, start the discussion right now.
I mean, we started talking about them again and again. We can't help it. I'm not saying that class trials are top priority right now, since the case hasn't been sorted out, right? Let's get started. That's okay. First, the victim in this case, Kisaragi. The incident happened this morning. Everyone was there except Mikiko-chan. Yeah, at that moment, Kisaragi's behavior suddenly became a little strange, and he ran to the 5th floor looking for Kurikawa. It was as if he had become a different person. What was Kisaragi's true identity? That's fine and all, it doesn't have anything to do with this case. I would like to know, but we can't because he's dead. So let's just forget about it. In any case, we sensed something strange was happening and hurried to the 5th floor to chase after Kisaragi. Only then... The 5th floor was already bloody. Something already happened. At that time, Makaru gave instructions to me and Akane, didn't she? I was to go check Kinjo and Akane and to check out the bloodstains in the lab. Yeah. And besides Kinjo, we were able to get some crucial clues from the lab, including that there was nothing wrong with him. Crucial clues? What was in the lab? That's for later. Let's organize the case first. First, Maeda and I tried to enter the blood-stained record room, but we could not open the door. Sure enough, a password was required to enter the records. That's right, you told me when you were investigating the 5th floor. However, it seemed certain that something had happened in the records, and while we were thinking about what to do, so Makaru took me to the ballroom. Surprisingly, the white cloth in the ballroom was connected to the 2nd floor, and the door you see when you hold the cloth and go up was directly connected to the back door of the record room. When Tyra and I were about to enter the records, we were told to go back to the ballroom. I wondered if the ballroom and records were connected somehow. So in the end, the cloth was tied up by the culprit, right? That's right. This means that the culprit had to do the same to get into the records. The culprit mustn't have known the password either. It's only natural, isn't it? It's a facility that was originally in this building, and we don't know anything about the facility, including the killer. I thought so too, but Makaru said that the culprit might know the password. Well, let's talk about it later because it's important, but not now. Anyway, when we entered the room through the ballroom, Yamato Kisaragi was dead. And in front of the dead Yamato Kisaragi, that woman, Mikiko Kurikawa was standing there covered in blood. For now, this is the overview of the case. Yeah, everyone except for Mikiko-chan. That's right, I'm sorry, I didn't even want to discuss it earlier, and I'm sorry, but no matter how I look at it, no one can commit the crime other than Kurikawa. However, if the criminal fails to deceive us in the class trial in their own way, they'll be put to death. Is it really that easy to commit a crime? Is there some kind of trick that we don't know about? Come to think of it, didn't you mention that Makaru found a crucial clue a while ago? What's wrong with the laboratory? It's an important clue, but it's hard to figure out the whole case with that alone. What I found in the lab. Yeah, that's what we're discussing now. When I went to check it out after hearing it from Akane. In the lab was, well, it was a few things. It's either this, or this. Right? Yeah. It could be either one of these things, but I think it's this one because this is obviously the biggest one. Yep. Makaru, you're talking about the piece of bloody flesh that was in the lab? Flesh? Human flesh? Yeah, I heard from Akane. I went to check it out myself. That flesh was probably from Kisaragi's chest. Moreover, Teruya, you should have entered the laboratory before the announcement went off. No, I didn't see it. I was in a hurry. Is that so? I was also surprised when I first found it. The fact that Kisaragi-kun's flesh was in there means that Kisaragi-kun was killed in the laboratory, right? That's it? I mean, he wasn't murdered in the records. But even if that's the case, isn't it impossible for anyone other than Kurikawa to commit the crime? Well, that's not the case. But the place where he was killed can be a very important clue. If you don't know who the culprit is, it's silly. Hey, Teruya. Do you seem a bit dissatisfied? You are so full of yourself just because I decided to cooperate with you, aren't you? No, it's not really like that. I'm sorry, I'll stay quiet. In the end, no matter what I say, it comes with the conclusion that it is impossible to commit the crime except for Kurikawa. But I can't conclude without knowing anything at all like this. The most biggest obstacle in this case is... Let's talk about that with everyone. Spinny, spinny, spinny time. What are we arguing about now? I don't know. Everyone's alibis, anesthetic gas, rec room door, Kisaragi's handbook, bloody cart. Okay. Even if we try to organize the case, the result won't be any different. Even if Kisaragi was killed in the lab, only Kurikawa can commit the crime. There's someone who can commit the crime except this woman. But after Kisaragi-kun left the dining hall until his body was found, always together we were. Why are you talking like Yoda? Akane and I went out for a bit, but we came back in a hurry. When we arrived on the 5th floor, something already happened, right? I think that's true. We need to discuss this in further detail. Huh. Indeed, the biggest obstacle is Kurikawa. As Teruya said, can it be decided that Kurikawa is the culprit? No, we have to do everything we can. Let's think what each of us were doing when the incident occurred. Okay. So I think it's just as... Okay, I didn't actually lose anything there. I think it's just as simple as... Actually, I wanted to go back to everyone's alibis. I think it's just as simple as we just have to agree with Akane here. Even though this is obvious. Yeah. But yeah, we just gotta do that. Okay, that was not too bad. Okie dokie. As Akane said, no matter what the clues are, it cannot be denied that we were together at the time of the incident. We'll have to work this out in order to see the truth. Wait a minute, why is the story suddenly going towards the direction of except for Kurikawa, there's a culprit among us? Wait, what? I don't see how where that's going. But also that sentence was worded kind of strangely, so I don't know. If the alibis are perfect, doesn't common sense say that Kurikawa is the culprit? Why is the culprit, Kurikawa gradually moving away from the suspect list? Why? Because frankly, it's too easy if Mikako Kurikawa wins. It's almost like someone is trying to blame Mikako Kurikawa for the charges instead. I'm also in agreement. Something is fishy. It's a class trial where your life is lost if you make one single mistake. You need to think more if you're not 100% sure. We're being too blunt. Aren't you just scared? Maeda Makaru, normally you trusted the clues pointing to the culprit and gave the answer. What are you afraid of to be so careful this time? It's the alibis and the blood. Besides, there's even evidence about the bed sheets, so anyone can tell that the culprit is... Don't be such a stick in the mud. It's full of complications. Do you want to annoy me right now? Or what? Are you the killer? You can't do that. Don't joke like that. Hey, Atori-kun, just the bedsheet. What do you mean by that? Alright, Akane doesn't know about this. The bedsheets, of course. That was the clue Teruya gave us at the end of the investigation. The place where Teruya took us was... Okay, well this is easy. Just before the investigation time was over, Teruya called Makaru and me in a hurry and took us somewhere. The place Teruya took us, it was Kurikawa's private room. Mikako-chan's room? Yeah, I stopped by my room before we started, and I was getting impatient. I noticed Kurikawa's room was wide open. So I looked inside for a moment. Kurikawa's room didn't have any bedsheets. What? She didn't know? You're surprised? Why would you be, and so suddenly? Huh? You haven't said anything and just stood there still. What's this all of a sudden? Nothing. No. Well, we know the bedsheets are gone, but what does that mean? Akane, there was a white cloth hanging from the second floor of the ballroom. Didn't you think you'd seen it before? I think I saw. Ah, maybe that cloth was the bedsheet from our private rooms. Yeah, it's probably the bedsheet from Kurikawa's room. Yeah, but that's really conclusive evidence, isn't it? Like Mikako-chan's reaction a while ago. At this point, I can't stop thinking of it now. No, I think it's more likely that Mikako Kurikawa is not the killer. Huh? Is there a reason? Fools, just think about it. Let's say the woman used the bedsheet and hung it on the ballroom. Then, even if she hides that fact, she leaves the door wide open until time runs out. Don't you think that's weird? That may have been because the incident took place in such a short time. They may have forgotten it. Forget it. Besides, that's the only reason we have. When I briefly looked around her dormitory after chasing Yamato Kisaragi, there was no sign that the door to Mikako Kurikawa's room was open. I didn't look closely, but the door from the dormitory to the school side and Kurikawa's room goes in a straight line, so you can see it without getting close. As you said, you claimed that the door was wide open, right? Actually, when I took you and Maeda, it was wide open. Yes, I saw it. It's like trying to show that the door was wide open. Wait a minute, then Kurikawa couldn't have opened the door? If she comes back and opens the door right after we chase Kisaragi, we would inevitably run into each other. So that's what I'm saying. In short, the door to Mikako Kurikawa's room was opened. It sounds like it was one of us. Then, you mean that person is the culprit? That's very likely. Using Mikako Kurikawa's bedsheet for the crime, they intentionally left the door open as if to show us. Isn't it plausible if the goal is to cover up all the charges against Mikako Kurikawa? Actually, we kept doubting Kurikawa till the end. No, but it's just a pendulum. Even if there's another culprit in our midst, it's impossible to commit a crime other than Kurikawa on an alibi. That's well... Hey, Mikako Kurikawa, would you care to join the discussion now? Actually, hearing your testimony is the most important thing. You didn't say a word during the investigation. What you went through at the time of the incident holds the key to this case. Sorry, I do not know. Mikako-chan. Damn it! Kurikawa, are you the culprit? A victim? I'm starting to get confused. Hey, I wish you couldn't say something like this. But is there a possibility that she killed him? As in the case of Kobushikawa-kun a while ago, was made into a self-play. Unfortunately, Yamato Kisaragi was unable to commit a series of crimes, so it is unreasonable to start by opening the door to the private room we just talked about a while ago. Someone is trying to cover up the charges against Kurikawa. I understand, everyone has an alibi, so it becomes impossible to commit a crime. How did they open Mikako-chan's room in the first place? Did they even steal the key? Guys, don't the alibi get things complicated? Why don't we discuss the method of the crime, assuming that the culprit is a seventh person A? Seventh person A? I don't think we're going to progress if we ever continue with the alibis like this. Let's assume there is a person named A who can roam freely other than us. Let's talk about the method of the crime first. I'm in favor too. I am ashamed that a talented person such as me is not sure about this at all. Yeah, I think that would be nice too. Come to think of it, I think I heard a similar thing from Mikako-chan last time, too. Approaching from the other side of the case based on the testimony that has already been given without considering the truth or falsehood of a testimony. Did you remember all of that? Yeah, we can't give up just because we're stuck in one place. Let's designate a hypothetical person who can commit the crime, and discuss the method of crime, assuming that person's pattern. Spinny time. Ooh, I like this music. Alright, what do we got? Kisaragi's dying message, Monokuma File 5, laboratory meat, ballroom cloth, anesthetic gas. Okay. If there's a person A who can freely roam, preparing for a crime wouldn't be difficult. Killing Yamato Kisaragi. To put the blame on Mikako Kurikawa is no easy feat. They kill Kisaragi first and spill blood in the hallway, right? And somehow they stole Mikako-chan's bedsheet. They even prepared a way to get their records from the dance hall. If Mikako Kurikawa was really taken advantage of, by some means they must have kidnapped that woman. Huh? Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing next to a dead body. The problem lies is that this happened within 15 minutes for all the events to take place. Even if it was Mr. A, it's not that easy to commit the crime. I have no idea what I'm supposed to shoot there. Person A, the criminal, must have done something to make Kurikawa look like the criminal, besides simply killing Kisaragi. In order to figure that out, they would have to be able to control Kurikawa at will, and it would have been necessary to relatively incapacitate them. Let's think about that. Okay, so does that mean we have to agree with Makaru on that one thing? But what points to Kurikawa being incapacitated? This? That might be it, actually. Yeah, I think that's it. Because Makaru said that gas wasn't harmful, right? It would just, like, knock someone out? I think that's what she said. I think this is what we gotta do. Let's see. Yippee! Okay. And we got a coin, too, of course. I like that we do that, because now it's like every time I shoot a truth bullet, Satsuki lives on, in a way, because it's her skill. Okay. Makaru, by some means. I thought about it, too. Wouldn't it be possible if they used that? The anesthetic gas, I mean. Anesthetic? What's that? Akane, didn't you see it when you went to the lab? A strange can. The same thing that was rolling around like last time. I heard it from Makaru and thought, it's gotta be the anesthetic gas. It sprays compressed anesthetic gas in form of a grenade. If you're exposed to it, your body will temporarily become numb, and your nerves will not function properly. What? Where did they get such a dangerous thing? Maybe it's from the arsenal in the ballroom, because the arsenal itself was still open after all, since Kinjo also brought a pistol from there. If you use that anesthetic gas, Kisaragi-kun as well as Mikako-chan can be neutralized. That's true. Still, Kisaragi went looking for Kurikawa, so there's a good chance they were together at that point. After mobilizing the two of them, Kisaragi is the Axis, and if you make Kurikawa splash blood and stand out in front of the corpse, in theory, it would be like this case. It's not about fainting, it's just paralyzing. But if that's true, wouldn't Kurikawa see the culprit? That's true, but if you use a tool that can hide your identity, it's not a problem at all. Still, it's a bit strange that Kurikawa doesn't tell us what happened to her, but... Wait a second. I have a problem other than this. Once you use the anesthetic gas, you mean moving two people from the laboratory to the record room, right? Even if there's only one, isn't it difficult to move two people all by yourself? I agree as well. Besides, in that short time before we came up, the anesthetic gas was used in the laboratory. That means that two people who were in the lab were brought up to the record room, just as it was mentioned. It is difficult to move one person, but it would be a challenge to move 2 people in a short time. But it wouldn't be impossible. There must be a shortcut to move 2 people at once. The proof of this is... Okay, I think it's the cart. But... I still don't know how they would bring it up to the balcony. So, hopefully we will figure that out. No, there's an easy way to transport 2 people by your own. You just need to use the cart. I guess that means, like, they pushed it. Like, they pushed them to the balcony place, the ballroom. But I don't know how they got up. A cart? Haven't you seen it when you searched the records? There was a cart that was supposed to be used to transport something. And that was also bloody. I remembered. Wasn't that originally at the entrance of the lab? That's right. Surprisingly, the place where the anesthetic gas was supposed to be deployed was also the laboratory. I can think of only one possibility that the cart in the lab got bloodstained after being used to the records. In order to move Kisaragi and Kurikawa... That's right, if you use the cart to transport it, you can easily move 2 people without any effort. By raising Kurikawa, including Kisaragi's corpse, they were able to overturn the charges against Kurikawa. Oh, shit! That was a cool little counter thing, or argue. Wait, you've been talking like a cool guy for a while now, but can you think that much? What's wrong, Makaru? Is there something wrong with me? If, as you say, the case was so easy, I wouldn't say anything. However, there's a fallacy in your claim. Please don't confuse me with incorrect information. Just stay still. Okay. What is the problem? Nope, I am good. Time to slash teacher words. Oh boy. Chest hole, Kisaragi's dying message, Kisaragi's handbook, rec room door, ballroom cloth. Okay. Cart was used, sure. But it was originally an object in the laboratory. I'm just gonna go through first. We took 2 people and carried them to the records as you said. With the cart up to the ballroom. The records are open unless you know the password. You can only get in through the ballroom. They took a cart and climbed up the sheet of the okay. Jesus Christ, man, I'm trying to read! You really believe that's possible? No, I don't. I don't actually. I agree with you. I'm very confused. As long as there's evidence of a cart, it should be clear that it was used for transport, but Makaru's argument is not wrong either. Because it's true that the cart was in the records. It's certainly unrealistic to climb on a bedsheet rope with a cart carrying 2 people, but the cart was still found in the record room. If so, maybe it's that. Okay. So, I think we've got to... Shit. Okay, we gotta use... Not dying message, the handbook. I think we gotta shoot it at... Whatever... The one that's talking about you could get into the records. I don't remember what it said. This one. Okay. We got it. So I wonder if they're gonna say that, like, if you're knocked out, like, the records door doesn't close? Or, okay, I think I should get it, because, if Kisaragi is already dead, then he probably doesn't count as a person then. But, Kurikawa still does, because she's still alive. So the killer would have to open the door, but not go in themselves and just push the cart in. So that is probably what happened. Wait, Makaru, what if it wasn't actually like that? What? Take a look at this. Do you know what this is? 0430. What is this number? Moreover, this is bloody, right? You don't mean... That's right. It's the password to the records. What? Maeda, did you know the password? No, I'm still not sure. I haven't been able to check if it is the real password for the records, but I think the chances are high. Where did you find it? When I was investigating, Kurikawa gave it to me. Right, Kurikawa? Please give an answer. Then, Mikiko-chan knew the password? Well, I don't know about that, because Kurikawa also found it in Kisaragi's body. Then there's the possibility that the culprit also got the password from Kisaragi. That's right, if you could go in and out of the records through the front door, wouldn't it be easy to transport 2 people by cart from the lab to the records? That's incredible, Maeda-kun. It seems that the method of the crime has been finally grasped. So now, if we could only identify the criminal. Is that really true? What do you mean, Makaru? I kept thinking it was suspicious, but I'm getting more and more suspicious now. What are you talking about? Well, it's that the culprit is talking about someone. Yuki Maeda, that's you. Wait, what? Huh? Is she suspecting us? Oh! Okay. Well, that felt kind of short. Well, okay, so I guess that's gonna be it for this episode. So, yeah. I still don't know exactly what's going on. It looks to me like Yuki may be getting a bit of the blame now, which would make sense given what happened in Trigger Happy Havoc, but I don't know, anything could still happen at this point. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. Next time, we will finish Chapter 5. I'm assuming, at least. I don't think there would be that much left to it, outside of just the second half of the trial and whatever is after it, but, yeah. So, see you then. Goodbye.